I guess today it's all about, well, it's the Hackney Wick Festival, so it's obviously about like this area, like geographically, and you know, like there's lots of obviously like connotations that come with East London, and with this kind of like community, like there's a lot of regeneration. Dare I mention the white elephant in the room and the Olympics? Yeah, I don't know how that's going to change things.
Not really, because we can't afford it, and it's just like for the Olympics they're building overground. For the overground means they've got to get more space. It's just like Dawson, they've moved off the shops, they've closed them down because you know they're going to put overground there, and the shops are now relocating somewhere else. So it's a bit of a walk for people that just know, oh yeah, that was there. You know,
yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's a fuss for nothing. If you think about it, if you was a shop owner and you're being told by like TfL to move your shop down the road because we want it to build overground, you have to relocate and that's your money.
Yeah, is any place for the people can be involved in such a games, or that can be the beneficiaries for doing that, because the game itself is just 2 weeks game. So after that, there's nothing there. Like we observe that the Olympic Games cause so many problems about people living there, local people. And then actually what the Chinese government did is just they removed the people living there and then just open for the foreigners for the playing games. So it's ridiculous anyway. It's not like a harmonization of the people, while the Olympics aims in the past, I don't know what's currently going on, but the unite of the people or harmonizing to the area or region, they just forget about that.
I think England will be different because they will come up with their own plan and their own idea, not to do the same as China did. I think this is going to be also eye-catching.
Yeah.
People are expecting something better within Europe. I know that.
Well, I mean, when we get closer to it, there'll obviously be various events done by the local boroughs, and we'll all go along and support them. And I'm certain it'll be a happy time, say for a month before, during the period, and a month after. What I am concerned about is before that month before and after the month after.
But I think they need to provide more activities for youth to actually join in, because when you think that the Olympics is coming, there's going to be swimming events. Offhand, I think Hackney's only got about 3 local swimming pools, which, you know, is not encouraging.
But the basic theory is just harmonization or participatory for the local residents, and then the government should pay more attention to communicate or be involved, not only for the volunteers or implementation of the Olympics itself, but for the sustainability after the game itself. How they're going to use, or they're going to this big opportunities. Maybe it might be a big opportunity anyway, and have many possibilities. But
football clubs around the area, that they might make use of the stadium. They might have it as their home ground, or and they're always doing, you know, athletic championships and stuff, so it will be another area what they can use. So,
well, one hopes so, but of course it will depend on the cost of using them, because it isn't a rich area here, and also can you get to them by public transport. If you live in Leighton, you can't get from Leighton to Victoria Park by public transport, which is totally ridiculous. 20 years ago there was a bus, 236. There's still a 236 here, and it stops just across the road.
That's what I'm saying about that. They need to have a very good bus system. They are talking about the tube or whatever, but also people love to use the buses more than the tubes, because when they use the tubes, they don't get a very good scenery to see what they want really to enjoy. But in the buses, they love these views outside, and the bus system is not so good.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm requesting the planning team to look into that issue of the bus system.
Okay.
And they need to put up even new bus systems whereby they have aircon, because the world is moving in the modern system.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be really squash the bus, which is too small, and there's no aircon.
Yeah. Correct. And that was an example of how bad we are at the moment. One just hopes we'll be better. But really these sort of accesses should be already being provided so one gets used to a new bus route, because it's no good putting them on a week before the Olympics because nobody will know about them. Another big thing that everybody's worried about here, and I'm certain you are aware, is the East Marsh position. The East Marsh is one of the most used football areas, I believe, in the world, but at least in the country. I mean, Beckham and everybody used to use it. Everybody like myself used to use it for football and cricket. They're covering it over and making it a coach park for the Olympics. Well, none of us are happy on that for a start, but there's all the promises about them putting it back to how it was. But as you know, money talks, and in the end, they might have spent so much money that they can't afford to convert it.
It may be a promise that they'll put it back, but according to the way how you hear what they're talking about the budget, I don't think that they'll put it back. For me, in terms of the budget, what they're talking about after the games, I don't think that they'll be looking to put back the green which they had, which they took away. I don't think so.
Yeah, I want to believe them because I think that if they're making all these, and all the things that they're saying they're doing are quite public, aren't they? So I don't know how they can get away with not fulfilling all these promises. And the fact that the Olympics is going to be such a global project, you know, it's not just going to be local communities that are interested about what's going on here, it's going to be everyone around the world. So they've really got to do their best, and I think they probably will.
When you look on these boroughs which are hosting the games, the government or the Olympic Committee which is working on this, they should now work very, very hard to see that they start tackling crime within the areas by supporting different projects which are gathering the young youth together within these two boroughs, Newham and Hackney. And by the time we come to 2012, things will be changing around. These young boys or young girls, they'll come to understand that, we have to work together and live together instead of stabbing each other or do this. They have to work as a team with different people, and I think to be successful, and they'll forget about fighting each other using the knives. They need to be supporting these small projects taking place within Hackney.
Sport probably is a way forward. So in the fact that the Olympics are going to be located here is probably good for the youth and the younger communities. Well, I guess things like this, like just bringing the community together, events. But I don't know, things like that are difficult, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because young kids just follow what the other kids are doing, and it just takes one to say what's cool or something, and then they just follow the trends, don't they?
We've all been young once, and you tend to be like the sheep you follow. As you go out of your teens into your 20s, there's a little period where you tend to go out of this stabbing and violent and crime thing out of your teens. It's a teen thing, right? Mainly. It starts at about 13, 14, ends up at 19, 20. That's that period. That's the period that should help the people to do things. Right. Encourage them to go to youth clubs, open youth clubs. Give them an incentive.
But I think some of the problem is that there's a lot of talent in young people and that it's not used. And there are a lot of very clever young people, and especially I think maybe boys, and if they don't have a space that they can use their talent and use their energy, then it just goes into something really self-destructive. And then I think there's a lot of hype about youth crime that makes everybody frightened of young people and less kind of open to doing things with them. And of course there is some really serious violent crime. I would acknowledge, I'm not saying there isn't.